Mindfulness. Mindfulness has been covered above, but in terms of practice, I will say that mindfulness can be very useful in sorting out which sensations are mental and which are physical. We need to know the elemental sensations that make up our world. This is the crucial foundation of insight practices. Not surprisingly, the first classic insight that leads to all the others is called knowledge of mind and body, and arises when we learn to clearly distinguish between the two as they occur. So, with mindfulness, we sort out what is somatic, what is visual, what is mental, what is auditory, what is pleasant, what is unpleasant, what is neutral, etc. We can know what is a mental sensation and what is a related physical feeling. We can know what specific mental and physical sensations make up our emotions and where they occur. We can know each physical sensation and the mental impression that follows it. We can know a sight and the mental impression that follows it, a physical sensation that follows it, even a thought and the mental impression that follows it. We can know the intentions that precede physical and mental actions. We can know the sensations that imply mind states, knowing a clear mind as a clear mind, a dull mind as a dull mind, an agitated mind as an agitated mind, a focused mind as a focused mind, an expansive mind as an expansive mind, etc., as each of those mind states and mental qualities are implied by various aspects of the myriad sensations that arise. We can know where sensations are in relation to each other. We can know exactly when they occur and how they change during their very brief stay. We can and should sort these out as best we can. Be patient and precise. Become fluent in all the sensations and patterns that make up your reality. Increasing our direct sensate clarity through repeated attention to doing so is the point of mindfulness in this context. We are wiring the machine of our brain to be able to be more present to exactly what is going on in our experience. These 2 paragraphs contain formal insight practice instructions, so perhaps go back and read them a few times. While I have tried to avoid advocating one specific insight tradition or technique over any other, there is an exercise that you might find helpful when trying to develop strong mindfulness. It is commonly called noting, and has its origins in Sutta 111 of the middle-length discourses of the Buddha, or Majjhima Nikaya, MN. Very worthwhile reading, usually referred to as MN 111, called One by One as They Occurred, and in MN 10, Satipatthana Sutta, variously translated as 4 Foundations of Mindfulness, or Frames of Reference, etc. Sutta 22, Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Greater Discourses on Mindfulness, of the Long Discourses of the Buddha, or Digha Nikaya, DN, usually referred to as DN 22. Noting is used primarily in the Mahasi Sayadaw insight tradition from Burma, though related exercises can be found in various Zen traditions, notably Soto Zen and Korean Chan, such as repeatedly asking, "What is this?" Noting is the exercise that gained for me the most breaks and insights in my early practice, particularly when done on retreats, and because of that, my enthusiasm for them is extreme. I still consider it the core foundation of my early to middle practice, the technique that I fell back on when things turned difficult or when I really wanted to push deep into new insight territory. Thus, of all of the techniques and emphases I mention in this book, take this one the most seriously and give it the most attention. Its simplicity belies its astonishing power. The practice is this. Make a quiet, mental one-word note of whatever you experience in each moment. Try to stay with the sensations of breathing, which may occur in many places, noting these quickly as rising as many times as the sensation of the breath rising are experienced, and then falling in the same way. These are the fundamental insight practice instructions. When the mind wanders, notes might include thinking, feeling, pressure, tension, wandering, anticipating, seeing, hearing, cold, hot, pain, pleasure, etc. Note these sensations one by one as they occur, and then return to the sensations of breathing. When walking, note the feet moving as lifting and placing, or as lifting, moving, and placing, as you perceive each of the many sensations of all those processes, noticing other sensations as they arise, and returning simply to the sensations of the feet walking. The details of this practice can be found in such books as Practical Insight Meditation by Mahasi Sayadaw, which I highly recommend, available free online in various places and in book form. This is my all-time favorite Dharma book. It is short and to the point. Its instructions work and the promised effects are reproducible. The first 42 pages are total gold. There is no need for me to repeat much of the useful information found there, as it is pithy and now readily available online. Put another way, not reading Practical Insight Meditation about 5 times would be a little crazy if you care about these techniques and what they can lead to. I simply followed the instructions in it and the instructions of my teachers who taught me that same technique, and great things happened. For a deeper and more complete dive into the amazing world of Mahasi Sayadaw, his masterwork, Manual of Insight, is now available, Wisdom, 2016, and is very highly recommended for anyone wanting to practice insight meditation. Still, if you understood what was in Practical Insight Meditation from your own experience, you would be way ahead of most practitioners. Here are some valuable tips for successful noting. Don't get too neurotic about whether you have exactly the correct noting label for what arises. Stick to simple noting and move on. Noting should be as consistent and continuous as possible, perhaps 1 to 5 times per second. Speed and ability to keep noting no matter what arises are very important. Anything that derails your noting practice deserves fearless noting the next time it arises. Note honestly and precisely. So long as you note whatever arises, you know that you were mindful of it. Noticing each sensation and those that follow, you will see their actual nature. Seeing their actual nature, you will gain profound insights directly. What the sensations are doesn't matter one bit from the point of view of noting practice. What is important is that you know what they are. The difference between these two perspectives should be clearly understood. This is directly related to koan practices such as, what is this? And is loosely related to breathing exercises where you count breaths from 1 to 10. One of my best insight meditation teachers, Venerable Sayadaw U Rajendra, would hold interviews every 2 days while I was on my 3rd retreat at a beautiful center in Penang, Malaysia, that was very conducive to practice. I would come in and describe all sorts of experiences that I was all excited about, and he would listen calmly to me go on, and then finally ask, "Did you note it?" That was almost all he ever said. It was amazing how easy it was to forget that simple instruction, and equally amazing how extremely useful it was when I remembered to follow it. He didn't seem to care about anything other than that I grew to know my reality as it was, with great precision and consistency. I knew very little theory then, but during those 2 weeks I practiced noting quickly all day long and made the fastest progress I have ever made in my life, getting all the way to the very brink of first awakening in a mere 14-day retreat. Since that time, I have been a big fan of this particularly direct and down-to-earth method. There are many techniques for waking up to the truth of our experience, of which noting is just one. I have found noting practice to be extremely powerful and fast, but each person must find what works for them. The trick is to get to know our reality as it is, and what techniques we use to do this do not matter much, so long as they work and bring results. What is meant by results will be clearly spelled out in The Progress of Insight in Part 4.